Okay, if we could go back into open. Motion to go back in open.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Made by Pabon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Can we do the roll call for open, please?
Lennon,
Here.
Woodward,
Here.
Visa,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Pavon,
Here.
Luis. Here. Gardella. Here. Carmichael.
Here.
Eight present.
Okay, per council's suggestion, this is a committee of the whole regarding our waste hauling contracts. So, floor is yours, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first. I do have a couple questions after reviewing all the information that was put together for us, and this question really is for Bob, if you don't mind.
Bobby, make sure that microphone's on so you'll be picked up by the camera.
Or should I say Mr. Schiller? So I don't know if anyone has asked you this, but for this type of conversion and the undertaking it would require for it to happen, how does that affect you?
The change is not, if we do go with a change, is not a simple process. It's gonna be, months long. There's gonna be hiccups like there is any other time. But, you know, we'll work through it.
Have you
So-
done this before?
I have not done one of these before. I've experienced one before at my own residence. We've gone through one of these.
And as a resident, did you find it completely painful?
It had its moments.
And then the other question I had, well, thank you for that, Bob. And then what is your expert opinion on the timelines for a conversion for something like this, if it should happen?
Well, you know, if the conversion happens, they were talking April. If April is the start of their conversion, I think you're gonna, the first 6 months anyway, you're gonna experience ups and downs and what have you. And then things should start to level out.
So by June? Hopefully.
August,
Best case scenario?
June to August.
Okay, thank you.
What about leaf disposal, Bob?
All right, I'll
You
stay.
might as well just stay there.
Leaf, I see that
Yeah, leaf
Waste
disposal.
Management takes care of that for us now.
Yeah, leaf disposal currently is no charge for us.
Okay,
There will be if we make the change, there will be a $60 a ton fee to dispose of leaves.
okay.
We haul them to wherever, and that remains to where they would be hauled to, because they do not have a transfer site
Right.
in close
So,
proximity either.
You don't have a
I-
location?
I
which
don't
is
know
not
right
good.
now.
Right now, we just go on Pershing, right?
Yes,
But we also fill up dumpsters at Public Works with leaves, with the sweepers?
I do, yeah, some of the leaves, but the leaves that go in the dumpsters typically have garbage in them. If when the leaves are falling and I get true leaves in the sweepers, that goes into a separate pile, gets loaded into a dump truck and hauled over to,
39
the Pershing transfer site.
And with the new company, we don't know where we would
I,
go.
at this point, don't know where they would go.
Could be further, cost of gas, fuel.
Could be.
What would you predict was the tonnage that actually goes through these? You said
$60 a ton.
How many tons?
My guess is I go through 600 to 800 truckloads in a season. So, I mean, 5 ton a truckload.
So
Oh,
I
easy,
I
especially if
spoke
it's
to,
wet, right?
I can clarify real quick because I spoke with Bob Schiller before. If you look at the breakdown in costs, we came up with an estimate, it would probably be about 70,000 per year, and we included that in. So that number would be approximately 70,000 per year extra for the leaves.
Are those the ones you emailed to us?
Yeah, hadn't gotten to that yet.
Okay.
You'll see that in the spreadsheet with the cost breakdown. With SBC, there is an inclusion of an extra line item of how much leaves would cost and that would be $70,000 per year is what we estimated after speaking with Bob Schiller.
Yeah, I saw it said conservatively 70, so it could be up to 100,000.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we just don't know because we don't weigh it when it goes in or any
Correct.
of that now.
Right.
So it
Now we will
an
be-
estimate.
Now we will be waiting.
It would be a weighed, it'd be just like hauling garbage, trash into the transfer site. You go through, you go onto a scale, you dump, you leave, you go onto the scale, calculate a
And
loaded
we
weight,
don't know
empty
where we'd be
weight.
going with these
I
leaves.
do not.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
So I think it would be helpful, if we knew where the transfer site that's, the additional transfer site's gonna be, because if we're in at Pershing now, and it's 2 miles away, where's the new transfer site? And obviously, that's gonna take, it could take longer, could not, who knows? Is it the same transfer site in the future, with, SBC, or is it another one that's further away? So can we get that information?
If I'm not mistaken, I thought they said that in their presentation it was in Westchester.
Oh, okay, okay.
Don't hold me to that, but I thought I heard.
Okay.
Phone call right now. to find out.
I think it might be in their presentation.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if you want an answer, let the city administrator make a phone call, because it is up on the agenda for tonight. I don't think you guys want to defer it again, but that's your choice, so.
So Bob, can you, I know you haven't done one yourself, but just from your knowledge and experience, what exactly would be the steps for this, if we decide to move forward with this, what would be the steps to make this conversion happen? Can you kind of walk me through that process to get an understanding?
From experiencing it, if April 1 is our change date, then around the 15th of March, somewhere in there, you'll start getting new toters dropped off at each residence. One recycle, one trash per unit. Those will be left there, and when the time runs out and the transfer happens, then Waste Management would come by, and in my experience with what I went through, they just left the toters. It was more effort to pick them up than it was to just leave them. So they just left them by us. But I would expect them to come by, pick them up, and then take them to an off-site location to store them. So for a couple of weeks, you're gonna have
A mess.
double toters.
And
So,
what
but
happens
then-
when
But do we know if they are gonna
residents-
pick them up?
I don't know.
Well, they're sitting right behind
Are
you,
guys
ask
gonna
them.
pick them up? Okay, they will
They
pick them
will.
up.
Okay.
So,
And what happens when residents fill up all these totes and they're not Waste Management's responsibility? So will they still get,
that's some of the issues that will take place, is somebody will fill
does
up
that suddenly
the,
become your load or?
it's a case-by-case basis. I mean, it's one of those things, I've not gone through it on that end, so I don't know what happened. With mine, I didn't notice anybody using the wrong totes early or anything like that, and was there an issue? I wouldn't expect there would be. If somebody used the wrong totes and put them out for Waste Management, I'm gonna assume they're gonna empty them.
They're gonna match up tote per tote that's at each building currently, or just give what?
No, one garbage, one
Because I know
recycle.
in the past,
If somebody
Waste
has
Management helped
extras,
us with
they'll have,
overflowing garbage, and has assisted us with extra totes
as they said in their presentation, SBC, you would have to buy an extra tote.
and pay for that.
Yes.
They reduced it to, I believe, $75 or $85 a one-time fee for an extra
Yeah, it
tote.
says 85 on here, Mayor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. But there'll be an extra fee then, or
Just the charge for the tote.
for the tote? Okay.
Which I know some people here have paid for the extra tote from Waste Management also, just so you're aware
Yep.
of that.
Mayor, for clarification, was that one-time charge for SBC or Waste Management or both?
Waste Management has a one-time charge. SBC also has a one-time charge.
Okay.
But they reduced it from what was the presentation of, I think, $299 to $85
SBC did.
for the extra tote.
Okay,
And Waste Management's, I think, was $75, if I'm not mistaken.
okay, thank you.
So then, every resident that has an extra tote has to pay for another one to get it replaced?
Yes.
If they want the second
Yeah,
tote,
if they want the
yes.
second tote, then they would have to pay for that.
I think we're gonna have a lot of upset people.
That we are.
It's up to you guys.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like look at you.
No, 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 no,
It's not-
no, no.
It wasn't
Hey.
directed to you, I was just thinking out loud.
It's your guys' decision to make what you want to do here. And I'm not taking a side either way, so I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible, and letting you guys decide what you want to do.
So when, you had it said 9 trucks on the street, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 9, trash removers, or does that include recyclable and everything? That's 9 trucks total?
9 routes would be all commodities that extract, recycle, and
So,
On Wednesday, I saw there's 18. Right.
so it's 9 routes,
9 routes.
and there are 2 different trucks for recycling one, and 3 different trucks, excuse me. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Ruth has the answer.
I was just on the phone with both Karen Coley and with Sean Flood. He's on the way. They didn't realize that it's being discussed right now. They were going to be here for the 8 o'clock. I spoke with them. They do have a partnership with both Heartland, who has a disposal over at Forest View, and they also have a partnership with Waste Management, and they could pay and have it disposed over in Cicero also.
Okay.
So it doesn't seem like the location would be an issue.
And Ruth, I'm looking at your chart you gave us here. It says now the difference is only 10 million something difference. I thought it was 13 million.
I went straight starting in April because that's when they would be able to have the trucks. I don't know if they started in January before. I just went straight from April
Okay.
all the way through. I worked on this with our finance director, and I based it off of all the information provided by both companies, and I also included where we are currently with our current rate, so you could see what the increase
So
would
it has
go
come
from.
down. I mean, it's gotten, yeah, okay. Not what they were saying at first.
I don't know if they included the January through
Gotcha.
March, that would have been, but they have guaranteed the trucks for starting in April, and that's when I started the account. But if we do make the switch, we would still have to pay Waste Management January through March at the increased cost, going from $26.46 to $34.27 per household. So just to take that into account also.
So Ruth, what happens in the worst case scenario in their equipment or all of their equipment doesn't come in for them to service the city adequately? We're paying Waste Management until April if we move forward with the new company. What happens if this, it doesn't pan out as well as we're hoping it does? Where does our fee schedule go from there? Do we remain, I mean, are they gonna cover that cost for us because they weren't ready to take our account on fully? Or, I mean, I guess that's a question for them when they
That's
pick it, right?
that's a question for them.
Well, I don't think there would be, Waste Management only has our extension through March.
Through the end of
Vaughn has
March.
gone back to try and get us a longer extension, but apparently the corporate is not allowing that. So we only have an extension through March. Vaughn, did you get any more information on that?
yes, I did.
Okay,
You can have a year.
I'm sorry, could you
Okay.
speak at the mic?
okay, so Vaughn is saying that he did go back to corporate and we could get approval for an extension for a year,
Oh, okay.
because that's what he was trying to do for us, to try and get a longer extension.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I have included the most recent emails that they sent to all of the elected officials, the most recent Waste Management one, and also one from SBC, and the SBC one, they put regarding the trucks, because that was a question, and it looks like the president of Mack Truck is standing firmly behind them, and they're going to be using us as an example for our community. So I would hope that they would want us to be a good example. Otherwise, it would be very hard for them to recover PR-wise if they plan on expanding it to any other communities.
So Vaughn, these final numbers that we have, that Ruth just provided us, these are set in stone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if I can just make a point about the last question
question regarding trucks and so, truck delivery. We also use Mack. We use a variety of truck manufacturers. And, you know, one of the things that puzzles me is that they'll be able to get all these trucks by April 1st, but yet we'll be lucky to get, what, 20% of our orders for 2023 this year. And also Mack, you know, parts department is on strike. So that's the parts department, not the truck, but again, they're on strike. So that just kind of puzzles me, and I wanted to share that with you.
Did you guys just settle a contract with the union also?
With the union, yes. We
Okay.
just settled with 731. That affects all haulers, including.
All
uh,
companies.
Including SBC. The first year, the drivers are. Oh, they haven't ratified it yet,
Okay.
okay?
Who hasn't ratified, the union or SBC?
SBC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we ratified with the union. First year is $9 for the drivers. Thereafter, it's 5. Is that correct? Guys? 9%, I'm sorry, 9% first year, 5% thereafter,
Increases.
increases.
And they're probably gonna get the same.
Well, if they ratify, yeah. If they don't, I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
Any other questions?
I have some, but they're for SBC.
Okay, they'll be here. The one question I had, and I've already asked Vaughn, he's looking into it for us. One of the problems we have here at City Hall is people can't get through their customer support. So they wind up calling here. We get approximately how many calls a day?
At least 5 a day.
At least 5 a day,
That's just our office.
because they can't get through to customer support. We've talked to Vaughn about that. He's trying to look into that to see what he could do to correct that situation, but that has been a problem for us here. But when we email Vaughn or the gentleman sitting there, they operate right away. Unfortunately, the customer support doesn't have the same, but those gentlemen sitting back there, if we email them, they respond right away. But we shouldn't have to do that. Go on, Vaughn.
Yes, you know, the mayor did ask me when I met with him a while back about this. Maybe some of you actually have experienced some residents calling you regarding the customer service department. We are transitioning to a fully automated system like many other companies are. And we're working through some issues, and I apologize for the inconvenience, you know, that city staff has experienced, or maybe you have experienced. And we're getting better, and it will get better. Everybody, this is kind of a high alert issue, because we want residents, if they want to call us, to be able to get through to us, and we resolve their issues. But we're also offering, besides call-ins, we're also offering that they can go online, that they can go to a website, they can go to an app, they can email us, all different avenues. We want to make it easy for them. And we're just struggling a little bit right now with the call-in feature because we're transitioning to that automated system. So I just wanted to share that, Mayor. Thank you.
I would add, when it comes to complaints, I get a few a week. I don't get that many. It's mainly if maybe in construction, in the depot area, missing pickups in the certain areas where it's a T-alley. But those get resolved, and there's been a few of those, but not that many calls. And I think the complaints I do get is really more residents, repetitive offenders, shall I say, that continue to, you know, throw non-recyclables in bins. And a lot of that, when I go, and because I usually stop by the house and look in their garbage, it's like, okay, we have plastic bags, and, you know, you can't have plastic bags now,
Well,
so.
until I did the what was it, commercial, Vaughn? Several years ago, I didn't know you couldn't throw a pizza thing in the recycling until
Well,
we did that, right? So, yeah.
Neither did my partner.
It's an education level.
Yeah.
It's an education level that we have to educate people with respect to that. Anybody else have a question?
One last question. So, I know this is a five-year contract with either one of the companies. Let's say that we we all decide tonight to move forward with the new one, and come August, September, or maybe even November, things aren't just falling into place as they should be or as we expect, what is the termination clause? Is there one in the contract?
I know within the RFP, we put in there that if we're not satisfied with their services, it puts a certain amount of, I don't know if it's 60 days or 30 days, if things aren't fixed, that we can go ahead and terminate. I could pull the RFP real quick, that section. I just did the backwards, the latter section that has all the exhibits, so you could see all the services that we're asking of everyone, that everyone's able to meet. But if you want, I can look it up. But our RFP right now, I believe, has 30 or 60 days. If they can't fix it, that we're able to exit the contract.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I mean, I think that's something we should look at, because if we decide that we're not getting served the way we should, 30 and 60 days is not going to cut it, because for one, then you're going to a new vendor or back to a vendor, and that's not the proper way. So I think if we have to look at this contract.
Well, it's 30 or 60 days to correct the problem,
Okay.
once they're addressed
But
the
if we were
problem.
looking to actually, you're
Well,
not
but
correcting
the
the
other
problem,
question,
what's the out?
the back question that you're not asking is, let's say, we say they're in breach of the contract because they haven't corrected something in whatever it is, in 30 or 60 days. How do we get back, if you switch, how do we get back to the original purveyor then?
Exactly.
What's going to be our negotiation with them? So you have to consider that also.
Yep.
Because they may come back and say, well, the prices have gone up, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
We don't know. So that is, yes, that's a very good question, but could be a problem. We don't know.
And Mayor, what if we just not ready to vote on it and decide we want to, we're not.
If you're not
we're
ready to,
comfortable- No,
no,
let me just finish.
you're 100%, you got a good question.
If we're not comfortable, can we go back and say, okay, we didn't like the bids we got, we want new bids?
Well, you can reject both bids and reject both contracts and go back, but nothing's going to change.
So what about the other one?
We've already attempted that, and nothing's going to change.
No, I
But
understand
what
that,
we,
but I
you
know
can,
that we
you
can
can
either get
defer,
new
you can still defer this again, but only with the knowledge now that what Vaughn told us is we can get a year extension. Up until this point, until Vaughn just told us that, I didn't know that.
I wasn't thinking so much just them, but would that open us up to receive other bidders?
Yes, it would, but you.
And it doesn't guarantee that they'll be better, but.
Correct, because you saw the big bidders that originally bid on it, and one was the highest, and the other one was the company that I don't think anybody really.
Well, we had someone in the middle, I think that was Flood Brothers.
And-
They were the lowest, they weren't the
Correct.
highest, they
And
were-
when I originally put out the RFP, I reached out to every single waste management company, waste hauler in the whole area, anyone that deals with municipalities, any of the bigger ones. So everyone got it. So when we had the questions for the bidders that they had, it was a mandatory pre-bid meeting. I had at least 8 companies here, at least. But after looking at all the services that we ask for, they couldn't meet it. So we only had 4 people who could actually meet the bid requirements for the services that we do. We have the Cadillac program for our residents here with all the services that we offer. And only 4 out of all the other ones that were there could actually put in a bid, a qualified bid that they could say, we can meet these services.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other general comments or questions?
The only thing I would say as well is having a possible that we'd switch and we'd go to April, end of March to April, but there's not that clear timeline that they're going to have the equipment, we're going to be ready, or whatever we're going to do. And then if we have to extend it for a few months more, we're kind of in a gray area. And maybe time is not with us, or something to think about is extend waste management for 1 year and spend the next several months, really look deep into this, and that gives the new vendor more time, both the current and future vendors, gives us more time that when we do get ready to switch, we're ready. We understand and we know that we're gonna have difficulty when we switch, because we're gonna experience, a difference for people and residents. And some of the problems we do have will still exist no matter what vendor we have. But, this is a tough decision for us. It's a cost savings.
Well, it's a
and-
cost savings to our residents.
Yep,
for
it's a
us.
cost savings, and some of those will change if we're gonna have additional services or things like that, so.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just something to think about. I'm
A
not
very
trying
good
to-
point is that, if you wanted to toss out all the bids, extend wastes for another year, and go back to the drawing board, we can do that. Or you could stay with the two you have, still extend waste for a year, based on what Alderman Lennon's saying. Extend waste for a year, and still try and ferret out all the questions that you may have regarding both vendors. I mean, that's a possibility.
I mean, it will cost more. I mean, it's good, no matter if we stay with Waste Management or not, you know, we're still gonna experience an increase. We're still gonna, for next year, because of the 4 months that we
Right.
possibly could
I-
have.
Yeah, I was, I'd already spoken with Finance Director Daish on how this would move along with either of the situations. If we do stay with Waste Management, we're gonna have to put out a letter pretty soon to our residents, because I think we, can you verify we charge ahead of the service by? So for people who get their services in the first quarter, the water,
The water's 3 months in arrears, the garbage is 3 months in advance.
Exactly.
so we're gonna have to put out those bills pretty soon, and that would include the increase. If we were to switch companies, we would be, the first year, we would just maintain our prices right now. That would be an option. That way residents wouldn't see an increase or a decrease the first year, because the latter part of the year would absorb the increase for the first 3 months. So if council decides to switch carriers, or who we have as providers for waste, then we would be able to, the first year, just to maintain the same rate, that would be an option. That way, it would incorporate the increase that would have come in the beginning. That way, they don't really see any difference. And then we'll have to speak with the mayor to see, and with finance, what would be the best way to move forward. But the costs go directly, basically, to the residents.
And when does that bill come out?
If it's 3 months in arrear, it should be coming out pretty soon, correct?
Well, they're different cycles, though. The
Yeah,
city's divided into parts.
Oh, okay.
So one
Got it.
part of the city will get their bill for the next 3 months for garbage, 3 months, and then the next part, right, they come on different cycles.
Got it.
The representative from SBC arrived, so if anyone had any questions, he's here.
Alderman, you said you had a question for SBC? Sean Ford. Sean Flood, excuse me.
I want to apologize for my absence. I was under the impression the vote was at 8 PM, so
The vote is, this is a committee of the whole discussion, they're trying.
Sorry about that.
They have questions.
It's okay.
So, you know, I'm really, you know, since COVID, we all know that there is so many delays in many different areas. It's materials, products, you know, all types of things.
Personnel.
Yeah, personnel, extremely. My highest concern with moving forward with your company is that what if, there's a big what if, your equipment doesn't come in on time? What is your backup plan? I know we're talking about a March, April start date with you, that gives you about 4 months. And I'm gonna be really honest with you, I'm highly concerned about whether you will be fully up to capacity to meet to service our city, because our city will be your biggest customer.
sure. Thank you, Alderman. We have a letter of commitment signed by the president of Mack Trucks, and we provided that to Ruth and city staff. We already have 2 trucks being delivered that we already ordered for you guys. They're being actually delivered next week. We've worked with different towns to convert different trucks over to your city as well. So we're moving different modified trucks over to villages like Bloomingdale and Winfield to better accommodate the city of Berwyn. Again, we have we have a letter from the president of Mack Trucks, and I know there's been some stuff said while I've been absent about we haven't signed a union agreement or anything like that. That is completely false. We've already signed the contract with the union. Local 731, you guys are more than welcome to call 731. For somebody to say that about our company is so dishonest and disheartening in many ways, because I was listening on the way here and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Sorry, I was running in here because for some reason, I thought the meeting was at 8 p.m.
Sean,
so
really,
I'm a lot of
don't
breath.
take a personal offense, it was a supposition, so.
Yeah, well, just false accusations about the company is just
When you
wrong.
signed your contract?
We signed it 2 days ago.
Oh, okay, 2 days ago, okay.
I mean, there's multiple companies like LRS, Flood Brothers, that have refused to sign that contract. We've agreed to it.
So Sean, I appreciate the math letter, and it's really great that you have the higher-ups backing you. But again, what is your plan B?
Plan B
if
is-
that doesn't transpire?
Sure, there's rental trucks, I have Premier Rental Trucks, they can provide 100 trucks tomorrow if we needed to. I mean, there's rental trucks that are begging for our business at a higher price, of course, but we can, if the absolute worst case scenario, we would rent trucks.
So you're not concerned?
I'm not concerned at all. I would not be standing up here today telling you that I could service you without being able to service you. That is a fact. We as a company would not promise you guys this. If we were not able to do this for you guys, we would not be standing here doing it. We would be telling you the reason why we asked for an extension is be able to get those trucks for April 1st. We would not sit here and say, we can't do this for you guys if we weren't able to do it.
Anybody else with a question?
Yes, I have one. So, for the leaves and the tonnage, there's some question about the cost on that, so.
Yeah, so we're willing to work with city staff and of course, all of you. We're open to alternatives. If the city's not happy with the pricing, we're able to work with different options with you guys. If you guys were willing to work on different things, like, for example, the cart rental that we provided at $2 a month, instead of doing that, we're willing to do an $85 $1 one-time purchase fee. We're willing to work with you guys to change things around.
Thank you.
So a question was posed earlier about the bins that residents have, and some of them have already paid for extra bins. So I know that you guys charge, I think it's $80 for an extra bin, is that correct?
It would be $85 a one-time purchase fee, yes.
Okay, so those residents are not going to be happy because they've paid for an extra bin, and because we got a new company, now they have to repurchase another bin.
Well, in my belief, if they purchase the cart from Waste Management, they own that cart. So Waste Management cannot remove that cart. If they purchased it, the resident now owns that cart.
So can they use that cart and you guys will
Of
pick up
course.
garbage from that cart?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there, I'll ask this on the city side or Waste Management, is there a listing of addresses that have purchased bins, extra bins?
Well, we don't have that, no.
I don't know if Waste Management has that?
So for the route scheduling and stuff, how many trucks would you see being out on the street each day?
Well, as we said in our presentation, we're planning on running about 14 trucks. I know on Wednesdays, currently they said Waste Management runs 18, between 60 and 18. Our belief is we can do it better. We're going to move some stuff around. Add 2 guys to a truck with some rear loaders, where they're doing it with all front loaders. We can believe we can get it done a lot faster with a man on front and a man in back, especially with the man running from the front of the truck to the back, having a double cart tipper to the back in certain areas. And with our 2 operations managers who live in both your towns, they told us they could do it that way and to do a lot more efficient.
You have 2 men on the truck?
In certain areas, yes. We will not be doing all front load.
Mayor, does us voting on this contract tonight bind us to the terms that are in that contract, or like you said, with those parts that may be negotiable, would it be possible to back out of that decision if that was made tonight?
What we'd have to do is, before I sign that contract, if there's other parts that need to be negotiated, staff would have to do that. We'd have to see, and we'd have to bring it back to you.
Okay.
At which point, I wouldn't sign the contract until I have authority from you guys to sign it.
Okay.
If we're gonna do that, I mean,
Right.
that's what I'd have to say right now. And then, depending on what the information is, we'd have to present it back to you. And then you give me the authority to sign the contract.
Okay.
You don't have to give me the authority tonight.
Right.
You can choose a vendor and then have us negotiate in certain areas. We've already negotiated on the cart, and I've already negotiated with Waste Management on the customer service. So we've already done that, as well as the extension.
So this
we've
is
been back
to
and
dis-
forth a few times already, so.
So this is to decide which route we want to go down, and then eventually we'll get the final contract and vote on that.
Yeah, and I would
Okay.
have it reviewed by legal besides myself too, to make sure it has what you guys are looking for.
Okay, thank you.
And Alderman, this would be the city's contract we would be signing, so this would be fully protected by the city.
So Ruth, was it 30 or 60 days?
So, on page 13 of the RFP, we actually have under the contract period, terminated due to default is described below or for no reason at all, as long as the city of Berwyn gives a written 30-day notice. So, in the
That's in
RFP,
packet you gave us?
That's the RFP that she.
and the original one that I gave you, a few weeks back, that full one, it's on page 13, when the contract period, so we would just have to give them a 30-day notice.
So technically, there is no contract right now. So if you pick a purveyor, then we would negotiate that contract. with you.
Got it, understood.
I went through this whole thing and I didn't see that. Apologies.
No problem.
Anybody else have a question? We've got both sides here, so.
Alderman, I want to let you guys know, this will be one of the best decisions you guys make for your town and your city. We're excited and we're ready for you guys. We have the trucks in line. I know there's been concerns. We have the carts ready to go. I have to make that phone call tonight. Every vendor we have is lined up and they're ready to go. The trucks are guaranteed. The carts are guaranteed. It's up to you guys. We were planning on doing this 2 weeks ago. They all called, I called them that night, every vendor, and said, please pause on the POs. Purchase orders are all ready to go. We went ahead and already have 2 trucks being delivered just on changes for what we're doing internally for you guys. So we are ready to go. We would not stand up here as a family-owned company and a woman-owned company and tell you we can handle you guys without doing it. We would back, there's been plenty of bids we backed off on and said we can't do. This is something we're prepared to do, and it will be the best decisions you guys do for your residents, and we're here for you. And I'm so excited to work with you guys day in and day out to help your residents get the best service they can possibly get. And we're ready for you guys, so.
How old is your company again?
We're going on 6 years, but we all have over 100 years of experience. I have one partner's got 40 years experience. I have 15 years experience, operations, 20 each. We have a new name, but we've been in the industry all of our lives. I was born into the garbage business.
So just in your last year, what has been some of your challenges and how have you corrected those challenges with some other?
Usually the challenges is during deployment and just making sure, like for example, like in Winfield, we were provided a wrong address list from the current company that we took the contract over. So we were delivering 95s when they really had a 35. You guys all have 95s and 65s, so it's very standard. It's kind of like Broadview where everybody gets a standard card, 95, 65 all the way down. Those were some major challenges where we were delivering a 95 when they really and ultimately had a 35, and then they were calling heaven for swap outs. If you guys check the references, we had those done within 30 days of those calls. Sometimes people get impatient, but gladly with your city, everybody gets the standard default cart, and there's no swap outs really involved with your city. So it's going to be actually very easy for us to deploy. That's the major one.
Anybody else? Okay, I just want to ask both parties one question. Vaughn, I want to ask both you one question. If it decides to switch, if the council decides to switch, are we both going to cooperate with each other with respect to the swap out?
Of course.
I trust your word.
Mayor, we definitely would work with Sean and SBC. We always try and go out very professionally. We have been here a long time, And for us to do anything different, it just wouldn't be in us and wouldn't look good for our company. So yes, we will work with the new company. I hope that doesn't come to fruition, but
Understood.
yes, we would.
Understood. Okay, if there's no further questions, I have nothing else for committee of the whole.
With respect to
We'll
waste
have this on the
management?
agen- I'm sorry?
With respect to Waste Management, they've been great to work with. We've had a couple of towns, you know, and they've been awesome to work with when transitioning.
I believe it, I believe it. This is gonna be up tonight on J1, so you guys can tell us what your decision is at that time, at 8 o'clock. Nothing else for committee of the whole. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Richard?
Richard, seconded by Lennon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. See you back at 8 o'clock.
go.
Yeah, right here, when they request.
How you doing? Don't see it too much without a I know. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Good, good.
How are you?
Feel like we should play like the Alan Parsons Project right before.
Clerk Paul, can we call the council meeting to order, please?
Lennon.
Here.
Hoywood.
Here.
Leisure.
Here.
Faith.
Here.
Pabon.
Here.
Ruiz.
Here.
Aaronella.
Here.
Carmichael.
Here.
8 present, Mayor.
Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Could we please keep our thoughts and prayers for all the men and women we have on the street tonight? Thank you. If anybody wishes to address the open forum, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address. Anybody from the audience? Alderman, anything for open forum? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Is that on, ma'am?
Now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm Laura Forbes with FEMA, and I was asked to come and just give you a current update of what is happening at this point. Of course, the DRC here in Berwyn has closed. As we approach the end of registration period, which is October the 30th, people still have time to get registered for both SBA and for FEMA. We have to date distributed over $304 million to the citizens, not just in Berwyn, but in the county and in the city of Chicago, in Cook County. We have had over 100,000 registrations. Give me just a second here. I do apologize. I don't have all these numbers memorized. We had 61,000 homeowners that applied for assistance. The rest of them were renters or of some kind, living precariously, whether on somebody's couch or, someone who was homeless who applied also. There were 48,000 homeowners applications that were received. The range of amount of money given to the individuals was anywhere from 0, because some people did not qualify, to $50,000 depending on the damage they had done to their home from the flooding. SBA provided, where'd it go? They had 2,250 approved applications of the 69,000 that were referred to them. People are referred to SBA to apply for a loan if they had homeowners insurance. Regardless, one of the processes is that that's part of our steps. They're referred, they make the choice whether they're going to go to SBA and apply for that loan or not, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want a loan. We understand that, but that's part of our process. If they do not apply, our process stops, and we're not allowed to assist them at that point according to the Stafford Act. All it takes is them going in and completing their application. Whether they qualify or not is on SBA's decision. If they do not qualify, they're referred back to FEMA for other needs assistance. That other needs assistance can assist with furniture, clothing, cars that might have been damaged during the flooding. I know that some people lost their ability to use their vehicles. SBA, the average of their loans that were distributed was $33,688. They did distribute over $5 million already. There are still 116 applications that have not been processed yet completely. And that's pretty much what I have to say. We will be wrapping this up. We will still be here to answer questions if questions arise, but registration period is October 30th, and that's the most important date at this point for people to know, because if that deadline passes, and unless you had extreme circumstances why you were not registered before October 30th, it will not be accepted in our process. So yes, some people can register after that if they had circumstances that maybe they were in the hospital and they're just now getting out and didn't have the opportunity, but they would have to do it through an appeals process and make that request. That's all I have.
And thank you for all of FEMA's help and for at least coming here to Berwyn for one of your sites to help our people out. Thank you.
That's what we do. We appreciate the assistance we're able to give.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for open forum?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Yadira Padilla, a First Ward resident and the JSA chapter president over at Morton West High School. I read the proclamation on the agenda notice for the City Council meeting, and I just wanted to reflect a bit. I noted the call of action on the proclamation to honor this great leader, Nora Loretto, by volunteering at our local high school. Our JSA chapter decided to host a book drive at Morton West High School on November 6th in her honor. This event will take place throughout the week, and the books will be donated to local organizations. We'll be posting flyers, so make sure to keep posted soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dara.
Hi, my name is Lisa Jaborek. I live at 2828 Home, and I would like Berwyn to consider the possibility of some type of composting program similar to what Chicago has instituted. I think we owe that to the next generation.
Right now, we've been exploring with the C4 communities, as we are one. Mayor Katrina Thompson heads that up out of Broadview. Right now, it's simply, we've spoken to the people that are doing it. It's simply an educational thing for schools, but we have been looking into it for homes also. But right now, they're just doing it with grant monies from schools. So, but we're still on top of that, yes.
What is the C4 program?
The C4 is a group of a lot of us mayors that have gotten together for sustainability and environmental protection. And they did bring a company that does doing composting. But again, that grant money that they have is strictly for educational purposes right now. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Natalia Perez. I am the Fourth Ward resident here in Berwyn, and I am also a volunteer at Christian Life Center Food Pantry. And since my last open forum update regarding the need for more volunteers to keep the program running, I am very ecstatic to report the volunteer number has doubled since that call to action. So thank you once again for the opportunity to help save this vital food security resource. And once again, if anyone is interested to help out, we have our food pantry every Thursday from 5 to 7 at 3409 Grove Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience for open forum? Alderman, anything for open forum? Okay, hearing none. Item C1, please.
Item C1 are the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and regular meeting for October 10th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the Committee of the Whole and regular City Council meeting minutes for October 10th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Fay to approve the City Council minutes and the Committee of the Whole minutes for October 10th, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mayor and City Council would like to move up and move forward F1.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Carmichael to move forward F1. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item F1, please.
Item F1 is a proclamation. Whereas lifelong Berwyn resident Nora Ann Loretto, nee James, born on July 19th, 1954, lived a life of service to the City of Berwyn community as an impactful and compassionate leader who dedicated her life to volunteering and improving the lives of all who call Berwyn home. And whereas Nora Loretto attended St. Mary of Selle Grammar School, Morton West High School, and Morton College, and retired from the University of Chicago Department of Orthopedic Surgery after 22 years. And whereas Mrs. Loretto's passion to serve the community earned her the Charles E. Piper Award in 2015, a prestigious award which recognizes one outstanding person from our community for their contributions to Berwyn's vitality. And whereas Nora Loretto served as the 8th Ward Alderwoman and was a constant leader on the boards of the Berwyn Public Library, Park Districts, and the Berwyn Development Corporation Board of Directors as treasurer for 3 terms, a contributing member of the Roosevelt Road Association, past president and founding member of District 98 Education Foundation. And whereas an accomplishment Nora was most proud of was the relocation of the Lincoln, the Friendly Neighbor statue in front of Lincoln Middle School. She launched the Pennies for Lincoln campaign to fund the relocation to enhance the school's campus with public art. She worked alongside countless students, parents, and community members to make the fundraiser a success. And whereas Nora Loretto unexpectedly passed away on Saturday, September 23rd, 2023, leaving behind her legacy and living on in the hearts and memories of all lives she touched. Beloved wife of Tony Loretto for a loving 47 years, devoted mother of Michael, Madeline Loretto, and Mary Beth Georges, fond grandmother of Abigail, Charlotte, Everly, and Sawyer. And now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Robert J. Lavero, and the City of Berwyn City Council members would like to recognize Nora Ann Loretto and hereby proclaim November 7th, 2023, and every year thereafter as Nora Loretto Service Action Day in the City of Berwyn in honor of a lifetime of public service to our community and call upon all residents to volunteer in their schools, churches, local parks, and library to keep the spirit of this passionate leader alive. Dated the 24th of October, 2023.
I will make a motion to adopt this proclamation and fix the necessary signatures.
And place it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Leisure to adopt the proclamation, affix the necessary signatures, and place it on its way to passage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Will the Loretto family please come up?
I'd just like to say one thing. An amazing the outpouring of support that we've had. I'm not gonna get this out, am I? I had a lot to say, but I can't say it now, I guess. She was at the best place that she loved, Disneyland, Disney World. We're on our way home from there, and that's what happened right there in Decatur, Alabama, when she passed away. She loved this community. We lived in the house that we're third generation in that house, and she really, truly loved doing all the work she could do for this community. And I'm glad to hear about the book drive. I got a lot of books for you. I got a lot of books. It's just amazing how people open up and show the respect that they had for her. And believe me, she loved this community. She truly loved living here. We're all part of this town. I can't say, I'm done. Thank you. Whatever. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Nora was my friend since 1961. When she watched over me in grade school, and she guided me through this community, and really helped me a lot when I got to the spots that I did as alderman as well as mayor. So we will all truly miss Nora because she was a credit to our community. Thank you all. Item E1, please.
Item E1 is a communication from Berwyn Development Director David Hulsberg with an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing and Approving a Certain Agreement Terminating the Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement with La Lupita Restaurant Incorporated for the City of Berwyn, County of Cook, State of Illinois."
It'd be my motion to amend the ordinance in its face by correcting the property index number, and as well as the clerk's name on the signature page, adopt the ordinance as amended, and direct the corporate authorities to fix the necessary signatures and send it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Carmichael, to amend the agreement where presented, fix the necessary signatures, and place on its way to passage. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Aye.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella?
Aye.
Carmichael?
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item E2, please.
Item E2 is a communication from the Berwyn Development Corporation with a resolution a resolution authorizing and approving the issuance of a certain commercial loan to JL9 LLC and Julian Lazara, payable to the Berwyn Development Corporation for the City of Berwyn, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I just have a quick question for Dave. Dave, this loan's secured by holding title, correct?
Correct.
All right, since this is my ward here, it'll be my motion to concur with Director Hulsberg and adopt a resolution authorizing and approving issuance of a certain commercial loan to JL9 LLC and Julian Lazara, payable to the City of Berwyn Development Corporation for the City of Berwyn, County of Cook, and the State of Illinois, and have the corporate authorities fix the necessary signatures and place it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Fate, seconded by Leisure, to adopt the resolution for the commercial loan to JL9 LLC and Julian Lazara, payable to the BDC, affix the necessary signatures and place on its way to passage. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon? Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella?
Aye.
Carmichael?
No.
6 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item F2, please.
Item F2 is a communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of David J. Green to the 911 Emergency Telephone System Board.
I move that we concur with Mayor Robert Lavero's recommendation to appoint David J. Green to the 911 Board Emergency Telephone System to complete the vacant 3-year term expiring August 23, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Leisure, seconded by Fate, to concur with my recommendation of David Green, appointment to the 911 Board and completing the vacant 3-year term, which expires August 23 of 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
On the roll call, please.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Nay.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella?
Aye.
Carmichael?
No.
6 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. David?
Do you, David Green, having been appointed to the 911 Emergency Telephone Systems Board in the City of Berwyn and County of Cook, do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, support the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and faithfully discharge the duties of the 911 Emergency Telephone System Board according to the best of your ability? You guys are listening to the
Congratulations.
sign on the Now it's official. Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations, Dave. Item J1, please.
Item J1 is the deferred item from October 10th regarding the selection of a waste recycling service provider in the 5-year contract.
I'd like to make a motion, but before I do, I have a couple comments. So please bear with me. I'd just like to say, for me, myself, this has been a difficult decision to make. It is not a very easy one with all the facts to consider. There are a lot of pros and cons with both companies. We have a very long relationship with Waste Management, which they have done their very best in serving us to the best of their ability. As Vaughn has mentioned, the numbers are set in stone. There was no flexibility in them, and that is what it is. As we know, going with the lowest bid is not always the best process to follow. We, not too long ago, had a resident here that was very dissatisfied with the work from a contractor that we hired as a low bid. There are so many pros and cons to consider in this situation. I hope that in the future, when we have a decision like this to make citywide a process that completely affects every resident in our community, we start the process a little earlier for a situation like this where we're going to do a whole new conversion. Vaughn, I want to thank you for the many years that you have given us. You have truly done a lot, and as I mentioned before in my comments in previous meetings, you have been very responsive to every situation, at least for me in my ward. You have been very responsive. You have immediately rectified issues. But as we know, since COVID, costs have escalated substantially. And I believe that it's all 8 of our fiduciary responsibility to our residents that when we can, weigh the risk and go with the best decision possible. It may not be the right one, it may not work perfectly, but I think that our responsibility is to look at it from all angles and to make the best possible decision. And so with that being said, my motion is to move forward with SBC. I don't know if there's any corrections or amendments that any of my colleagues would like to make to the contract. If there are none, I'd like to move forward with the SBC contract. Am I fixing necessary signatures, or what am I doing here, Mayor?
No, we don't have a contract. We have to
Just select the,
just select
okay.
and then we'll-
So my motion is to select
And
SBC
we'll
as
bring
our
the
new
contract
vendor for
forward.
waste management.
Second.
Okay, I didn't hear who seconded. Okay, motion by Ruiz, seconded by Leisure, to select option 2, which is enter negotiations with SBC Waste Solutions for a 5-year contract. All those in favor, I'm going to call the roll.
Lennon.
Pass.
Roywood.
Nay.
Leisure.
Yes.
Fate.
Nay.
Pabon.
Yes.
Ruiz.
And my final comment is SBC, I'm putting all my faith in your company, and I hope that the way you stood up here confidently, promising everything that you have in your contract forthcoming, that you really come forward with that. Aye.
Aaronella.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
5 ayes, Mayor.
Back to Alderman Lennon.
Aye.
Six ayes, 2 nays. Clerk?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, motion has been passed, and I will ask each one of you that have certain things that you're looking for to please send them to myself as soon as possible, so that as we get into the contract negotiations, we can address those items. Okay? Motion carried. Item J2, please.
Item J2 is a communication from Public Works Director Schiller regarding approval of attached pay request for September 2023 for Depot District Streetscape.
It'd be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's approval of pay request for September 2023, prepared by Postal Yor and Associates Engineering for construction engineering services in the amount of $109,295.10.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Aaronella, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the pay request for Postal Yor in the amount of $109,295.10. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J3, please.
J3 is a communication from Mr. Schiller regarding approval of attached pay request 17 to Pan Oceanic Engineering for the Depot District Utilities.
It'd be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's recommendation to approve pay request number 17 in the amount of $865,112.51 from the City of Berwyn's IEPA sewer loan.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, second by Aaronella, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the pay request number 17 for $865,112.51 be paid from the City of Berwyn IEPA sewer loan. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Roywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J4, please.
J4 is a communication from Mr. Schiller with an ordinance stating an ordinance authorizing and approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Berwyn and the County of Cook for the Stormwater Management Program with the City of Berwyn, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Good evening. This IGA with the county is for $500,000 of ARPA funding that we were able to secure for enhancements to our flood mitigation program. Our program currently is 50% of the cost. We refund 50% of the cost of a project, a flood mitigation project, up to a maximum of $3,500. This program, until the funds are expended, will add, if you install overhead sewers to your home, it will add an additional $6,000 to that. If you install the backflow prevention with the bypass pump, we'll add an additional $4,000 to that. And if you install just the bypass or the backflow valve without the pump, it will provide an additional $2,000 worth of assistance. The thing with this program is the funds have to be allocated by the end of 2024. So they will only be able to sign up starting like next month through December of 2024, but the funds don't have to be expended until the end of 2026, typical ARPA deadlines.
So is there a marketing plan in place on how to get this information into the community, or are we just going to rely on?
As soon as we have a signed agreement with the county, then we'll put together marketing.
Okay.
There is already a marketing agreement with respect to the overhead sewers or the check valves. It just has to be amended to include this fund to change the dollar amount.
Yeah, it's just amending our current plan to further enhance the benefits to the residents.
I'm just hoping that with the increase, it may encourage others that have been on the fence about it to apply
Correct.
for it.
Correct. And as I said, we do have it on our website as it stands now. We will modify it, make sure it gets out there.
I got a question from a resident that if they already expended it, can they retroactively?
No.
No.
They may not. It's upon passing of the IGA is when the enhancements will take place.
So Bob, if we don't have all the money allocated by 2024, do we have to return it?
Yes.
But we were also contacted by our 16th District Commissioner, Frank Aguilar, today about he's trying to get some additional funding in the county budget for flood mitigation for Berwyn. Don't know if that's going to happen, but he's attempting to do it. Bob and the engineer, Nicole, have been in touch with him to see what they can provide for him.
I have a question. How does this impact the residents that are already in the system that haven't they're approved, but they haven't chose to do flood mitigation? Like if they're on the waiting list, but they haven't, started the process?
Pull
'Cause I
their
know
application and reapply after the after the agreements are signed.
Okay,
If
because
they
I know there's a lot of
haven't done the
people that
work.
signed up 2 or 3 years ago, but they haven't done it yet.
Right.
And then, so we'll have that issue there. So we can define that and information that goes out to the public?
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Claudia and Melissa to make sure, Bob, remind me, we'll talk to Claudia and Melissa to make sure that that's in there.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay, it'd be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's approval of the attached ordinance and intergovernmental agreement with Cook County for an ARPA stormwater management program as presented to council.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, second by Aaronella, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the attached ordinance and intergovernmental agreement regarding the county's contribution to stormwater management, affix the necessary signatures, and place it on its way. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Boywood.
Aye.
Leisure.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Pabon.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Aaronella.
Aye.
Carmichael.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. The consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by
I heard Boywood.
to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Aldermanic Committee meetings. Alderman Lennon,
Call it, Chair.
Alderman Boywood,
Call the chair.
Alderman Leisure.
I forgot to mention, this Friday, PAB YMCA, October 27, 7 to 9 p.m., is their free community event, Halloween Happenings Candy Walk, open free to the public. There'll be candy, Halloween movie, and treats. Call the YMCA and call of the chair.
Alderman Fate,
Call it, Chair.
Alderman Sebald,
Call the chair.
Alderman Ruiz.
I have a town hall meeting on November 2nd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's a community ward meeting at Lincoln Middle School. I'm also hosting a Fall into Action resource fair. There'll be many different nonprofit organizations offering their services free to the community. I have a flyer out. It will be held on Saturday, November 4th at St. Mary South Cafeteria, and that will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. All are welcome. Oh, and I'm sorry, Aldermanic Chair meeting is November, oh, never mind, it's not that close.
Alderman Aaronella,
Call the chair.
Alderman Carmichael.
Call the chair, motion to adjourn?
Second.
A motion to adjourn by Carmichael, seconded by Lennon, but I want to remind everybody to check our website and the Berwyn Recs website. They have their Halloween path over at Genera Park this Saturday from 10 to 12, so please check that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Oh, you mean hosting? I'm sorry, I was lost for a second.